I just finished it, saying what will probably be the last goodbye to my mama. I tried pleading with her and making her see my reason. I could just see her lost, vacant look, like I was a total stranger. Like, that was my flesh and blood. I just don't understand. I just don't understand how someone could be so cold and just quote religion as a reasoning for it. I escaped the exclusive brethren here in Australia about 7 years ago. So I'm going to keep it really simple about this religious group I grew up in. The exclusive brethren are about 140 years old. So my parents have been in it, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, so it's generational. They are very homophobic, extremely homophobic, very pro-men, like men are first, women are second. Women, are there to cook, clean and have babies. They limit education. University is not allowed. They have their own schools, so primary and high school, and their own businesses where you work within those businesses once you leave high school. I did not grow up with music, books or magazines unless it was purely educational for school. You did not grow up with internet, and the internet they have now is like communist internet where it's like you can get banks or the opening hours of a shop, but approved shops. They have their own telecommunication systems, their own phones that are all protected, have their own laptops, computers within their own corporation that dictates what you can and can't do. I went to church every single night of the week from Monday to Friday at around 6 p.m. And then Saturday morning church was a 10 a.m. service, and Sunday was a 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. service, then a 10 a.m. service, and then a 3 p.m. service, and then a 5 p.m. service. So you went to church 7 days a week, and you had to go unless you were on your deathbed. And yeah, so you went to school with these same kids that you grew up with and church, and it's that tight-knit community that they have this really strict rule of separation. You cannot eat with outsiders, you cannot go over to outsiders' houses, you cannot go to the movies, watch anything, like there's no entertainment. It's very, we're here to serve God, and if you're suffering in this world, well, then it's an indication that you're doing what's right. Basically, I hid being gay as much as I could, even though it was obviously to other peers my age or kids or people that were a bit more aware, but I didn't really know what gay was because it's a very sheltered environment. You don't have any way of looking this up or even asking your parents, because sex is such a taboo topic, about what's going on with your body or why you're attracted to a man or why you're having these thoughts, because you're terrified to even ask about it. So no, and here's an interesting story. I left 7 years ago, and I saw my sister about 4 years after. And obviously, if you don't know anything about the Exclusive Brethren or the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, when you leave, you're excommunicated and you're not allowed to have any contact with your family. Your family are not allowed to speak to you. You've died to them. And so I saw my sister in the street and I was like, hey, how are you? And she's like, good. Like, it's very confronting for them, as much as it is for you. And I just got chatting with her and I was like, and she's like, have you got a girlfriend? Like, and I was like, Megan, come on, I'm gay. And she was, what? I'm like, come on, there would have been rumors anyway that's the reason I left. It was such a shock for her. And I know why, because you're not surrounded by gay people. It's not a diverse society in there. It's alpha, predominantly white, straight community. Like, it's not, there's no, you're not allowed to mingle with outsiders, so you don't see a diverse range of society, so to speak. You don't live in a commune, you live in a psychological commune. You live seamlessly integrated in society, but you have these strict rules and church times and who you can't and can eat with. They didn't know I was gay, and when I came out, when I was 18, that's another whole big story of what they tried to do to, help me, cure me, or pray the gay away. No, they don't know I was gay. I didn't really know I was gay until I was like 9 years old, until I realized what my feelings for men were. Like, it's not really, because they're not exposed to other gays, so I didn't have to hide it. I didn't have to hide it because they didn't really know what it was. You don't have a network or friends out here, so you have to try and like set up a network, in which I did. I tried to leave when I was 18. That didn't work. I sort of crumbled and felt guilty, and there's so many mind games at stake here. And you know you're going to lose your family, so that's another big hurdle you have to face. You have to be fully prepared and mentally prepared to lose your family, your mother, your sisters, your cousins, everybody you love, because they're not going to speak to you once you leave, and that's part of the control that keeps you there. Another element of control that they hold you in there with is sometimes if you're working for an exclusive brethren business, when I was there, they would keep your money within the business, your wage that you earned, and they offered you an incentive, like a better interest rate than the bank. I don't think they do that much anymore, but so that's another thing. You had to sort of work out and make sure you had your finances. So that was another nightmare to get out. You had to try and get your passport and your birth certificate. You know, the mums usually keep all the birth certificates and all that, so they're kind of like, why are you taking that? Why do you need that? And it's very hard to pack up a car. You can't, like, you're on a very tight brethren schedule. You have church every night. You're constantly accountable. You're constantly you have to constantly tell your family where you are. Like, I remember my friend that helped me leave, she was like, God, do you remember your dad used to ring you every 15 minutes? And I was like, yeah. Like, he would be like, where are you, when you're out of sight? So it's very hard to leave, and the logistics, I left in front of my family, which was the most traumatic thing to date I've ever experienced, because to them, they are witnessing their son die, because you're taught you're better off to die than to leave. It's a lot of healing to be done, and it's been 7 years, right, since I left. So it's been 7 years of hard work, like healing and coming to grips with a new reality, really, like knowing that God isn't waiting there to punish you for leaving that religion in the first place. And then also being gay. A gay man in this world is difficult enough, let alone when you come from such religious trauma or such a homophobic environment that I came from. Yeah, I am okay. But those moments where I'm not okay, I'm okay to sit in them and just ride it through. And at the end of the day, I think the beauty of it all is I often, in those moments, will reflect back on my worst moments back in the brethren, and they're incomparable. Like, it's almost like a high, my lows now. And my lows now come from missing family, or did I make the right choice? Because you do have those moments of like, what if they're correct? But then you look at the facts and you look at your life and you go, well, I certainly didn't pick being gay, and I can't change that. I tried everything they tried. They told me to try. So you look at the reality, and then you take life for what it is at face value, not thinking too far ahead about the next life or what's to come, because then that's living in fear, and you might as well have been back in the brethren, and not thinking too far back because you can't change the past. Just live in the moment, be present, and be okay with it, whether it's an up or a down.
Ben's heartbreaking experience growing up within the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church is something no one should have to go through. Not only did he lose the community he grew up with, but he also lost his indoctrinated family too. Thankfully, 7 years down the line, Ben speaks on how positive leaving the cult has been for him, being able to express himself fully and think for himself, still having love for his family despite their different worldviews. Now he spreads awareness on TikTok, telling his story in the hope that it reaches others trapped in similar situations. The comment section were more than empathetic to Ben and his horrendously toxic upbringing, saying, 7 years is nothing in terms of grief. I imagine it will always be there, but you learn to live with it. It took me 10 years to properly move forward. It's a rough time and I've walked in your shoes. And wow, this is so interesting. Thank you for sharing your life. As always, thanks for watching Happiest. If you liked this video, then be sure to follow our Instagram and TikTok pages for even more interesting videos like this one. And if you've got any of your own you want to share, be sure to send them in.